panel. And Van, I feel like you might have a response.
I mean, there's so much wrong, so many wrong things. Okay, so he just simple stuff. He says he's so proud that we reduced, under the Clean Air Act, our pollutants by 65%. That's a huge achievement. He's proud of it. But carbon was not counted as a pollutant under the Clean Air Act until halfway through the Obama term. So then Obama moves forward to try to now do what the Clean Air Act says to do, and they stop him, and they say that's terrible. So you're either for the Clean Air Act, which would then mean that, and by the way, your conservative Supreme Court agrees with this, that then you have a responsibility to reduce the pollution, or you're against it. They talk against themselves all the time. They're for fracking, which is hurting coal, and they're for coal. And when you have this just word salad of nonsense coming from an EPA administrator who didn't say one word about the environment. His job is to be the environmental protection person. There was no protection in that speech. This is part of why I think with normal people, you just saw Elon Musk pull out. You cannot deal with this White House because you cannot deal with facts, you cannot deal with science, you cannot deal with economics, you can't deal with jobs, you can't deal with anything but mythology and slogans. And that's where we are.
Stephen Moore?
Where are we now on this issue? I think the problem for the kind of climate change fanaticism on the left, and I think there is a fanaticism, I think most people on the right agree with that, is you're going to have to find solutions to this that don't cost...
Is Exxon fanatical?
Yeah, I think there's a fanaticism. I mean, listen to this stuff about, extinction and the oceans rising by 10 feet. But here's the point.
There have been extinctions.
But look,
that has happened.
Look, here's my point. You've got to find a way to deal with the climate change issue in a way that doesn't destroy American jobs.
Yes.
And one of the points that Pruitt made that I thought was very effective was that, look, we don't have to speculate about what these regulations will do to the economy. We already saw it. We already saw the effects of the Clean Power Plant bill, which put tens of thousands of West Virginia coal miners out of their jobs.
That is not true.
They did.
Automation is more of a factor in terms of that.
I've spent more time in West Virginia than you have.
Then you wonder why you lost West Virginia and Ohio and Pennsylvania. It's because of that attitude. No, these people don't matter.
Let's bring in Gloria for a second.
That's not true. Well, hold on a second. Do not tell me that I said that coal miners don't matter. That is not true, and that is not there. No, hold on a second.
That they're collateral damage.
No.
I've heard that the left says that coal miners are collateral damage.
You're talking to me.
Not you, but people
and I have been in West Virginia more than you have. And
I've been there many times.
And I've been fighting to get the coal miners their pensions, which the coal companies have been stealing.
And I'm with you on that.
So don't go there with me. But I'm going to tell you this. It is very important for you to recognize that there have been people who have been arguing about American jobs. And there have been people who have been arguing that there can be a just transition, even for the coal miners, because the coal miners, especially in Appalachia, that coal you need to make the wind turbines. It's a complete falsehood that you're putting us against each other. And if you can't make an honest argument, just don't make the argument.
Well, now the president has to deliver. Okay? He said this is about jobs. He talked about growth of, what was it, 4%, which is, a good goal, right? But he's got to deliver. He said this would have cost us 6 million jobs, right? And this is going to help the coal miners, and he's going to save the coal miners, and he's going to revive the American economy. I mean, he gave a list at the beginning of his speech about all the work that he has done so far. But now he has set a marker down, and he said this would have been bad, and I'm going to be this. What I will do will be better. And so he now has to deliver because he has made a change from not only Barack Obama but Republicans. And I think he's setting himself up.
We've already seen a pretty big increase in...
Joining us now is CNN political commentators Van Jones and Jason Miller. Van is host of CNN's The Messy Truth, served as the Green Jobs advisor in the Obama White House in 2009. Jason Miller served as senior communications advisor for the Trump campaign and communications director for the Trump transition. Van, if the president does decide to back out of the Paris Agreement, I mean, it was one of his campaign promises. It is what he ran on, and voters elected him. He said he was going to do this. Should it really come as any surprise?
Well, whether or not he said he was going to do it or not going to do it, this is the dumbest thing he could possibly do. This is an American president pulling the rug out from under an American industry. This guy says he wants to be have America first. The one part of the economy that's growing faster than anything else in the economy, bar none, is our clean energy sector. We got more people working today in solar than we have coal miners. We got more people working in wind than coal miners. We've got clean energy, clean batteries, smart batteries. This is a dynamic section. If we're going to be first, we should be first in this. Why would the President of the United States pull the rug out from under an American industry and hand this advantage now to Germany to beat us in wind, to China to beat us in solar? It's the dumbest thing he could possibly do. It has, don't even ask about climate science. Just talk about American workers, American jobs, and American innovation.
Jason,
it's totally nuts.
Jason, what about that?
Well, Anderson, you started off this segment, I think, very correctly saying that we don't know yet for sure if President Trump is going to withdraw the U.S. from the Paris Accord. But I think there's also an important point here to say before I get into it is that, you know, right now myself and Van are debating. Of course, Van was worked with green energy and green jobs in the Obama administration. And myself as a conservative Republican, we also support the environment. President Trump supports the environment. And I think we're all on the same side here that we want to make sure that we have clean water and clean air, but we can't go and absolutely gut our economy and especially go and fight with both hands tied behind our backs while other countries go and cheat on this.
He's saying it's actually helping the economy, though, because this is a dynamic growing sector.
Well, no, but you look at the amount of money that gets pumped in. I mean, let's talk about what this Paris Accord could potentially do. I've seen studies out there say that could cost the U.S. economy upwards of 400,000 jobs over the next 10, 15 years. Electricity costs could go up 13 to 20%, could reduce household earnings by upwards of $20,000 a year. So there are a lot of disadvantages. In Van, you don't actually think that China or India or Russia are going to go and play by the rules when we're talking about a Paris Accord here.
Let me tell you what I do think. I do think that you're a smart guy and I'm a smart guy, but you're not as smart as Jeff Immelt. He is for it. Exxon is for it. Citibank is for it. The top CEOs in America are begging this president, please do not do this to us. And he is throwing them under the bus. In other words, you have an agreement that American captains of industry say this is great for us, and Donald Trump, to do on some crazy campaign promise, apparently, is going to go against American industry, innovation, and workers. That's what I know.
Look, so we're still waiting for the White House to give us the final word, and the president may come back and say he is going to stay in the accord, but he's going to go and revise it. But here's the thing where I think a lot of folks who helped to elect the president are concerned about is the fact that we're going to allow other countries to go and dictate and put out there exactly how we're going to go and regulate ourselves with jobs. But hold on. When you talk about the Global Climate Fund, they tried to raise $10 billion for it previously. The U.S. put up $3 billion. Now they want to take that to $100 billion, even though we're only contributing 18% of the carbon emissions. So are we going to go and almost double, overpay our share? I mean, this is, look, the most cogent argument that I've heard so far is that Merkel and Macron and some of these international allies in Europe want to see us go and stay in it, but they're the same ones who are out trashing the president.
There's so many things that you said that are just wrong, and I can't even get to all of them. Please listen to what I'm saying, folks at home. Here's the reality. You have a situation right now where 100+ countries are all on board with this. The United States is in a position to be the world leader on supplying this technology. Americans, the people who put this thing together, are not idiots. This is setting us up to win something. And this guy is coming in and he's talking, listen, yes, there is a climate fund to help some of these poorer countries get on board. All that's going to do is set them up to be our customers. I just can't believe.
But Van, there's no enforcement mechanism, so you understand my point, right? The fact that there is no enforcement
but
mechanism.
Jason, you're arguing two things, though. You're saying at the one point we're going to be forced to do stuff because we're part of this agreement. On the other side, you're saying there's no actual enforcement mechanism, and frankly, each country can decide to not. It's all voluntary.
So let me explain that, because once the U.S. enters into it, then since we're a country that absolutely follows the rule of law, then we're going to go through and pass rules and pass regulations to go and meet these standards, where I don't think these other countries will. I think that's very easily explained.
So Van, what about that point?
Okay, so here's the deal. That's not, in fact, true. This thing is a very flexible agreement. This is not, listen, you would be correct if we were talking about a treaty. This is an agreement. It's flexible. If it turns out that we can't meet our targets, we can back out, we can move. But what it does is, and why American CEOs are begging, please don't move the goalpost here, is it sets a clear standard for everybody, and we can outcompete folks. Germany right now is going to beat us on wind if we back away from this thing. China right now they're already beating us on fabrication for solar. Listen, I wish we had an hour to go on this. This is the most the biggest opportunity for jobs, innovation, and entrepreneurship in America, and the President of the United States is about to throw it under the bus, possibly, and it's wrong.
We'll see what the White House decides. Van Jones, Jason Miller, thank you very much.